Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And for today's video, I'm going to talk about and share to you the summary and the overview of the chapter 8 in the NetAcad. So previously, I've already made the full summary of the chapter 8. So today I'm going to discuss to you the brief summary and the overview on what's going to happen or what's going to discuss here in the chapter 8 in the NetAcad. So my name is Dharyll, and without further ado, let's get started. The first thing that I want to discuss to you is the chapter objectives. So the objectives in the chapter 8 is to implement an IPv4 addressing scheme to enable an end-to-end connectivity in a small to medium-sized business network. So given a set of requirements, implement a BSLM addressing scheme to provide a connectivity to end users and in a small medium sized network. So it also deals, the chapter 8 is explain the design consideration for implementing IPv6 in a business network. So let's start in tackling about on the how the chapter 8 works. So in this chapter is begun with an introduction to routing, including a look at the difference between the routed and the IP and the IPX, and routing or the RIP and the IGRP protocols, and the communication process on a simple one router network was described by step and included in an overview on a different process that take place when a host on one network attempts to communicate with a host on another. So a more complex example is involving multiple routers and networks demonstrated the way in which routers will forward packets to the next hub address. So in their journey between a source and destination host on the different networks. So a look at static routing provided an overview of on how this technique allows an administrator to manually define the path that uh, that a router will choose in reaching a network. So this included a look at the IP routing table and at the syntax of the IP route command. So in the concept of administrative distance was also introduced in order to illustrate how a router makes decisions on which routing table entry uh, to use when the path to the same network is learned in a different ways. So for example, is a static routing table entry uh, will uh, will always be considered the most trustworthy than the than a route learned from a routing protocol by default. So a, a look at dynamic routing demonstrate on how routers are capable of exchanging routing tables information with one another. So both through the use of the distance vector and, and link state routing protocols, and the major difference between the both types of routing protocols were outlined. So, as was the concept of a hybrid protocol, the the danger of routing loop was also discussed, including here is the I look at the techniques used by distance vector protocols to avoid this loop. So, an overview of the distance vector routing information protocol is outlined its major characteristics, so the timer values, and finally the commands to configure the monitor RIP or the Cisco router. The interior gateway routing protocol was also discussed, and including an overview of its configuration. So default routing was looked up as a way to configure a gateway of a last resort, and next hop router to whom a router will send packets destined for unknown networks. So in an IP routing was looked at next. So including the fact that the IPX RIP and the sub message are broadcast between routers, which automatically after issuing the IPX routing command, the IPX routing table was looked at as were the commands to monitor the IPX and the RIP and the sub broadcast traffic, and the show protocols command will outline a quick and and an effective way to how to obtain information on a router's interface, including their current state and configure addresses. So every network addresses have a valid range of a host addresses, and all devices attached to the same network will have an IPv4 host address. For that network and the common common subnet mask, mask or network prefix, and here also the traffic can be forwarded between the host directly if they are on the same subnet. So for example, is the if the traffic cannot be forwarded between the subnet without the use of a router, in order to determine the if traffic is local or remote. So the router uses the subnet mask and the prefix and the subnet mask are different ways of representing the same thing. So the network portion of an address. So basically here in the chapter 8, which we will be able to implement an IPv4 addressing scheme to be to enable or establish an end-to-end connectivity in a small to medium-sized business network. So and also, so in the chapter 8, you'll be able to discuss or design the consideration for implementing the IPv6 in the business network, and when the given set of requirements, implement the VLSM addressing scheme to provide the connectivity to end user to a small medium network. So that's it for today's video. And if you like this video and if you learned something, please leave a like and share. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.